I don't see that there's going to be anything like crazy after this. I don't think we're going to see that Tyler Lockett. Do you get that feeling?
I think I could see a restructure with Tyler.
Yes.
Releasing him, no. I would be stunned. I was looking at stats last night for different position groups for the Seahawks just historically. We'll get into the tight ends here in a minute, but I was looking at receivers. He is the second best receiver in the history of this organization if you want to go by stats. If you want to go by catches, touchdowns, yards, receiving, he's number 2. Largent is your guy. He's number 1. And it's very clear that Tyler's number 2. It's not really a debate. And I don't think we saw a guy who's diminished. I don't think we were looking at him last year. At least I wasn't going, man, he doesn't look the same. Yeah, certainly he doesn't come up with every single catch, and it's still a shock to me if the ball's anywhere near his hands and he doesn't catch it. But he's not a problem for you other than salary. The amount of cap space his contract is eating up. But on the field, he's still an absolute plus for this team. Absolutely. I would think Ryan Grubb would want him as an option for this team. I think Geno would want him as a target and a safety blanket that he's been. He's not I don't know. I don't look at him as a diminished product. I'm not saying he's getting better. He's at the top of his career, but he hasn't taken a step back to the point where I'm looking at him going, yeah, you got to do something about that.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of funny. Last year we thought, well, maybe he doesn't. Maybe some of that stuff is going. Some of those targets are going to JSN or Bobo, but he really, he had his second most targets of the year, and he just didn't have those big splash, I guess, plays. Again, 894. In the prior 4 years, he was over 1,000, including his best year in 2021 when he went 1175. During the pandemic year against the Miami Dolphins, it was a game on the road. I remember he dropped a pass. That's the last one I remember. And it was bad. It was right in his hands.
Yeah.
And he dropped it. And I'm like, you see every receiver do that, but not Tyler.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that there's any reason for him. Again, like you said, diminished skills. It's the other thing that seems kind of criminal to me is that he went to the Pro Bowl his rookie year, and he was all pro, but that was as a returner.
Yeah.
He hasn't been to the Pro Bowl. I don't know. He's so important here. And like you said, you think of Steve Largent and then him. And didn't Largent and him, weren't they born in the same place?
Same day. Same town.
Oh, it was the same day, not the same year.
Certainly not the same year, no. But same town, yeah. Same day, yeah. And he's just, it's a weird element. And you see it on the text, and you guys can text in whatever you'd like. But it's just, there's a certain group that are like, he's done. You got to get him out of here. He's washed. I'm like, what? I don't see that. I get looking at his salary and going, okay, he now is accounting for the biggest cap hit on this team. Yeah, you probably have to adjust that, I would think.
Right.
But the idea that he is somehow detrimental to the offense or he's a hindrance on he's an absolute plus. So I don't get the urgency to get rid of him. I get the urgency to look at his contract and say we need to restructure. But outside of that, he's a plus, and I would guess Grubb feels that way, and Geno feels that. More importantly, the guy that's throwing the ball, looking for people to catch the ball. So yeah, that's I don't know. We'll see. I would expect we would see something like that because he does have a big cap number.
Well, the other thing too, if you're Mike McDonald and you're coming in and going, okay, who are the leaders on this team? I mean, maybe not the big verbal guy. You don't see him on the sidelines or anything, but just watch him. Just watch the way he goes about his business, as they say in baseball, how he gets there early, how hard he works, everything. And then, you got to keep this core together. And, you're missing, a little bit of that with Diggs and Adams going by the wayside. I'd say Will Dissly was a good leader, too. Remember, Will was talking about how much he loves that tight end room. Mm-hmm. And, now he's gone. So I think he's a guy that you would identify and go, also, he's a great leader. And again, like you said, I think you could see them doing some kind of shuffling or restructuring that might even benefit him. Like maybe pay him up front. A lot of times, because I think in the NFL it's still this way. You get paid every 2 weeks, and a check's coming. And if they want to put that in your pocket here in March, that's a good thing. You don't have to wait until September to get a check.